To run your social media campaigns on Twitter with SocioMole isn't difficult. We designed the software to be extremely user-friendly and the dashboard to be as clear and intuitive as possible. The more thought and time you put into constructing your campaigns, the better the results are likely to be. With that in mind, we have put together this video to take you through a complete campaign setup step by step. This video shows SocioMole as it is now. As it continues to evolve, there will be updates that may increase the number of tabs and selections on the dashboard. As always, any updates will be user-friendly and pretty self-explanatory. So let's get started and begin with the dashboard. Having already used your login to enter the cloud-based SocioMole software application, a campaign will need a Twitter profile associated with it to be able to communicate. It also will need users already set up. You can use established social media profiles or create new profiles. Multiple campaigns can be assigned to the same profile, or, as is probably more likely, you can give each campaign its own unique profile. For the purposes of this video, we will assume you have profiles and users already set up. Go to the Campaigns tab and select Create New, which takes you to the basic campaign details screen. To make the most of the dashboard's campaign monitoring capabilities, you need to give your campaign a title, which you type in here. Giving clear and different titles for each campaign will become very helpful once you have several running. Then you give your campaign a description to distinguish it from any other campaigns you will be running. Your campaign will need a start date to activate it, so enter it here. The campaign start date is important, as your ability to edit the campaign is granted for 180 days. Once the start date is set up, the system will begin counting down. After 6 months, you will no longer be able to change any details. You will, however, be able to stop and restart the campaign as often as you like thereafter. Now choose the type of campaign using the Type tab, which determines the interaction between SocioMole and its audience. Firstly, you should decide which route the system will use to tweet. You have a choice of 3 buttons here to select, namely Private. SocioMole will follow people who have made the relevant posts and wait for them to follow back. By selecting Private, you instruct the system to only converse with those who follow back via the direct message route. The potential audience is lower, but the chance of successful conversation is greater because of the trust and less random nature of direct messages. Public. This is where SocioMole will identify people and instantly start the process of tweeting them in the public timeline with the @Twitter handle method. This route will lead to higher audience numbers but with lower rewards. Going public is a risky approach because you could be seen as spam and have the profile blocked by Twitter as such. Finally, you can select both. This is generally the ideal situation. You need to determine and select the time you are willing to wait for a follow back. The delay allows SocioMole to have the option of using a direct message for an allotted time period before using the public tweet method. This gives the best chance of being a private message. It also gives the response a little breathing room, so it seems less spam-like. It can be set from 20 minutes up to 2 days. However, we recommend anything between 20 minutes to 2 hours. Anything after that, the conversation starts going cold. You then use the Users tab to assign the campaign to the user. If you have multiple basic licensed users or are using account managers to oversee multiple campaigns, you can assign them here. Next, go to the Profiles tab and assign one of your social media profiles to this campaign you are creating. The left pane will show you all the profiles available. Simply click the one you want to use for the campaign. Now you have a campaign that has a title, a description, a start date, its social media profile assigned, and, of course, a licensed user. The next part is the heart of a good campaign. This is where you use the dictionaries to instruct SocioMole on what tweets to look for and how to exclude tweets. There will be tweets that may contain relevant words or phrases but do not meet your campaign criteria. This may be because of additional words or abbreviations that change the overall meaning. The words and phrases you are trying to identify and respond to are included in your white list. The words and phrases that you want to ignore are in the black list. These lists will grow and be refined over the first weeks of your campaign. SocioMole gives you access to edit and refine the lists over a period of 180 days from the start date of the campaign. You have plenty of time to get the campaign really relevant and working for your business. As this is such an important part of the system, you can learn more about managing the white and black lists in a separate video. Once you have added your search terms into the white and black lists, you are now on to the most important step: defining the responses you are going to have SocioMole send out. This is such a key element of successful campaigns that we have combined a more detailed look at this in the video on the white and black lists. We have provided you with a range of options that allow you to create and categorise the responses into 3 stages. These are the initial contact, which is the first tweet sent out once SocioMole has followed the tweeter. The next stage is what we call conversation, and it is, as you'd expect, a very general tweet and part of SocioMole's ability to appear like a real person. Then finally, there is the sales pitch, or the call to action. You have identified tweeters via the white and black lists because you want them to do something. This third tweet is where you tell them what that is. This might be a tweet including a web address, for example. The dashboard includes an automatic URL shortener that will shorten your web address. All such addresses are treated as 22 characters, so you need to be aware of this when creating your response tweets, as a maximum tweet can only use 140 characters. You will see when you create a response that there is a character count displayed in the right-hand corner of the box. It counts 120 characters, which is 20 less than the default 140 Twitter allows you. This is because of the system appending the user Twitter handle to the start of every tweet. As each handle can be up to 20 characters, including the @ symbol, we account for this to ensure your tweet is successful. If you want to add a URL at the end of a response, the system will shorten the web address you have typed to 22 characters. To make the whole exchange of tweets appear natural and human, you can elect to make your campaign deliver a full conversation by using all 3 options. If you want to go straight in with the sales pitch, then you may choose to simply add your sales pitch to the initial contact. The choice is yours. SocioMole allows you to add multiple variations of phrases in each section. The more variety, the more natural it will appear. The system will randomly select one variation from the correct section. One of SocioMole's most powerful features is its ability to detect and match the mood of tweets. The technical term for this is sentiment analysis. The sentiment dictionary allows you to further tailor your responses to meet certain moods. The system can analyse tweets and match them to one of the 8 moods commonly used in social media. These are anticipation, fear, disgust, surprise, joy, trust, sadness, and anger. So, if you think a lot of your targeted users will be angry, then you can tailor your responses to be specific to an angry user. Likewise, for any of the other 7 moods. You have the option to set the response to be couched in the first or third person and generic if required. This just helps to make the responses appear as natural as possible. The next step is to set up the demographics of the campaign. One parameter you need to define is the geographical area you want to have SocioMole looking at for conversations. SocioMole will only match conversations that are taking place within a circle you determine. There are multiple options to help you set the search area. You can set the search area using the mileage slider that will allow you to select a radius from a central point. You can choose either a postcode, town, or even use our map tool to click on a set location. If you just want the whole of the UK, simply click on the UK All checkbox. This feature allows you to target users within a set location, as long as they have set their location correctly when creating their Twitter accounts. Once all the settings have been added, you can click Save Changes, and your campaign is now ready to run from the date you set when creating the campaign. Within your dashboard, you will find 2 key areas in which you can monitor your campaigns and see the incoming tweets and outgoing responses. The first area is to be found here, on the main dashboard. There are two panels available called Activity Monitor and Recent Conversations. Within the Activity Monitor, you can see all the activity that occurs on the system, from tweets found, automatic follows to responses sent. You can click on any of the names and tweets within this window to open Twitter and view in more detail. At the top of this window is another link called See More Activity, which leads you to a more in-depth version of the Activity Monitor. It reflects the real-time status of SocioMole's automated activities defined by your campaign. SocioMole provides 24/7 and 365 days of the year automation. However, there may be times when you may want to take over and add to an existing conversation. That is why we gave SocioMole the ability to tweet someone directly without opening Twitter. If you see a conversation in the Recent Conversation panel or the More Activity page that you want to add more to, simply type in the box at the bottom of the conversation and press Enter. This message will instantly be added to the conversation. Once you have created and fine-tuned a successful campaign, you might decide to run a similar but different campaign using the same white and black lists but covering a different audience within a different geographic location. You do this by selecting the Active Campaign option in the Campaign menu. Find the campaign you want to clone and simply click the symbol in the Clone column. The new campaign will be created and you can rename the campaign to differentiate it from the original campaign. Change the start date of the campaign and the new location by choosing a new search point from which to find conversations in the Demographics tab, and save the campaign. The campaign starts running from the start date you have given. Measuring the performance of your campaigns will be very much dependent on what you wanted to achieve, but to give you some assistance, we have built in some basic statistics. To access these, you can look in the Campaigns list within Active or Archived Campaigns. Here you will be able to see the total number of people followed. These simple numbers can assist you in assessing how to tweak your campaign. The dashboard also has a chart which you can set to either number of messages sent per campaign or to total followers. We've also given you the ability to export a campaign overview between set dates, detailing your total number of followers and also numbers of those you have followed. You now have a SocioMole campaign all set up and ready to do its work in helping you make the most of social media for your business. SocioMole. Connect, innovate, explore.